London in the underground, 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 London in the underground. London in the underground, 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 London in the underground with your host Jimmy. London in the underground, 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 London in the underground with your host Jimmy. The music for all your needs with great personalities, bringing all wet bands in the land to all broadcasting you straight out from the fall. London in the underground, 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 London in the underground with your host Jimmy. London in the underground, 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 London in the underground with your host Jimmy. James, that is.
You can almost hear the change. You softly say my name, but you're not here anymore. Stuck on this ride, as I put in my change, a ticket sold, play the game. Ooh, romance says you take your chances for love in the rain. Can't win if you don't play. We play. Oh, we play. I'm cut off. You can't bear to hear the question. I don't know why I ask. I just take it back. Oh, change your mind, turn around. I'll hold you every time. Relax, 'cause I don't have the answers. All I know is you give and you go. Give and you go, you're a firecracker waiting to explode. All I know is you give and you go, you give and you go, you're a firecracker in my head waiting for me to let go so you can explode. All I could say. Whenever you need it, baby, I'm here all day. Just wanted to feel it before it goes away. And I hear rain now, stuck in this basement suite, and I feel chained down, feel like a shadow at your feet. Never find me, right angles to be seen. To explode. All I know is you give and you go, you give and you go. You're a firecracker in my hand, waiting for me to let go, so you can explode. Give and you go, you're a firecracker waiting to explode. All I know is you give and you go, give and you go. You're a firecracker in my hand, waiting for me to let go, so you can explode.
Who do you love? Who do you love tonight? There's no one else out on the road. There's no one else to take you home. And I know who you love tonight. 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 Who you love tonight.
You're listening to London Indie Underground, the hottest sound around. I left my love by the mountainside, and I walked alongside the river. And the shore I had found, they had turned the tide, and the light ahead was growing dimmer. And I heard you calling, but I didn't listen. And I watch you falling, but the mark doesn't know what it's missing. Lord, all the world is a cave, and I haven't seen the light of day. Only shadows of the wind and waves, and beds of needles amongst the hay. And I left my pain by the windowsill to drip into the blue bottles. Spread between your legs, you were spinning all that silk. Oh, I'm twisted and I'm tangled still. Oh, and I let the powder across the entire range. And I made a wish in the well, but nothing seemed to change. And I drank the water from all the seven seas. But there's a song in the swell that calls you back to me. I drank the water from all the seven seas, but there's a song in the swell that calls you back to me, back to me.
Well, hello there. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and friends. Those from London, those from perhaps Oshawa and southwestern Ontario. My name is Jimmy James, and you are tuned into the London Indie Underground Indie Stream podcast, coming to you live from the Vault Recording Studio here at Adelaide and Princess in London, Ontario. We're very pleased to be back. I want to apologize to our listeners that were planning on tuning in for the last couple of weeks, as we had a bit of downtime there as we installed a new console here into the recording studio. But proud to say, happy to say at that we got it all up and running. Joining me, of course, Mr. Matt Dyer.
Woohoo!
Now listen, man, been through this a couple of times. So.
I'm not going to say anything bad tonight.
Heard that before. So that said, we had a couple of weeks down We got everything back up and running here. The new Soundcraft Europa, which is quite lovely, by the way,
It's pretty beautiful there.
is installed and ready to go. Still a couple of little things here and there to tweak, but by all accounts, we were up and running. And we kind of reevaluated our commitment, I guess, to the local music scene, and that, there's a lot of things that take us away from doing this, and we've now committed our time and our resources to making sure that we're going to be here every Wednesday. And we'll get to some of the details about that a little later on, because we've got a number of guests that are going to be joining us here over the next little while, and believe me, you're going to want to tune in. But better yet, you're going to want to come and join us. All these podcasts, of course, we open our doors to you, invite you to come down, 532 Adelaide Princess. Any of the music industry arts students that may be tuning in for the first time here, I did a guest lecture with you guys. It was my privilege and honor to come and speak with you. That said, I know a number of you have been here for a recent video shoot with Jojo Worthington. Shot a music video for a song called Amadeus. Some of you had the privilege of coming down here. The privilege was all ours because we got to host you. So, Amadeus.
Yeah.
Come on, rock me Amadeus.
We were singing that the whole shoot.
I know, right?
Amadeus, Amadeus.
So that said, please come on down, join us. 532 Adelaide Princess, taking the show live. Features live performances from artists every week, including this week's artist, Mr. Rory Taillon. Hello.
How are you?
You don't have to turn.
No,
to
I don't
us.
have to. Okay. No,
It'll get you.
I don't know. It's true. Yeah.
It's okay. We have the technology, man. All we do is we just crank up the gain, and you're good to go.
Sweet.
How are you, man?
I am fantastic. How
Kind
are
of.
you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. This is a couple weeks removed now, because we had intended on getting together before, and we moved you to today in lieu of said changes that we had to do. But the first time I had the privilege of performing with you was at Van Gogh's Ear in Guelph.
That was a good night.
It was a good night. And then, of course, we had you come and perform here with the Crooked Brothers at the Shire.
Yeah, that was another excellent night.
And I got to tell you, from that point on, I was, smitten, I guess is the word, to get you to come down here. Because truth is, man, I mean, your vocals and your whole your approach and your sound is pretty remarkable. And those of you that weren't there, those that were there will know. But you've certainly got some chops. You got some lungs, right? At one point, I think you stepped away from the vocal microphone. You were actually louder than the PA system.
Yeah. That happened at the Shire, too.
Thanks. I always like to pull that one out just in case people aren't paying attention.
It's awesome.
Make sure you just snap them right back
Yeah,
in.
usually it's like, oh, okay.
Very cool.
It's loud.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, we'll get to some conversation with you about what you're doing and all things music in London, Ontario. There's a number of topics that have come up recently that I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit, and not necessarily music related, but the one that I do want to talk about, and I know that we may not all be abreast of all the details about it, but Jean Gomeshi, who was CBC radio fame, was the co-creator of the show Q. The reason I bring this up is it's a little nearer and dearer to my heart in that Jean Gomeshi and Q came to London. I think it was approximately 2 years ago, if not a year, and did a live taping of the broadcast at the Grand Theatre. And it was my roommate at the time. His name is Ian Gifford, who was a big proponent of starting that up through a one-off tweet. Said, "Hey, Jean, you should really come to London and do a live show here." And it spurned this whole campaign, which activated a number of people in our community to lure Q and Jean Gomeshi to come here to London. It was pretty remarkable to watch this thing unfold, because you don't really get a sense of how many people really tune into radio or rally around it until they're presented with an opportunity to show cause why a program should come and embrace London as one of the arts and culture centers in Ontario, if not Canada. So recently, Jean Gomeshi, if you didn't know already, came public with a statement that suggested that he was in the hot seat, so to speak, at CBC, where some women had come forward alleging that he had assaulted them. And it's pretty heavy when you look at it. Obviously preemptively he came out and made a statement. And those of you that don't know what I'm talking about and have been following the story along, there's been a lot of stuff out there, and it's a polarizing subject at that. But if anything, I think it's really created awareness, if nothing else, to the fact that maybe there's a lot of these things that are kind of brewing in the background that don't come to light for whatever reason. Right. First off, do you guys listen? Have you ever listened to his program before?
No.
You're not familiar at all?
No.
Yeah, definitely.
You've heard it?
Yeah, like what he does with a lot of smaller musicians. He gets a lot of, unknowns on his program. So I definitely have checked him out before.
Have you heard the performer named Lights?
Yeah.
He is her manager.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Or at least part of her management team. If not currently, up until recently was.
Right.
So he's definitely been involved in music and of Moxie Fruvis fame. Have you ever heard the song "I used to be the king of Spain, now I eat humble pie"? Okay,
Yeah.
this is Jean Gomeshi, and a celebrated Canadian broadcaster at that, and has really interviewed the who's who across Canada and otherwise, and arguably his most notable, if not awkward/controversial interview came with Billy Bob Thornton. And it's pretty, I encourage you to check this out if you haven't already. So Billy Bob Thornton, as we know, is a Oscar-winning screenplay writer for, I think it was for Sling Blade. It's been in a number of movies. One of my favorite Christmas movies at that he's in, which is Bad Santa, or Badder Santa.
I watched that last week.
Did you?
Yeah, it's
a great
good.
movie, even if it's not Christmas time. It's just
Yeah.
a great movie.
Yeah.
It's been in a number of movies of critical acclaim. And ventured off into exploring more of his musical side. Now that said, he's been involved heavily in music for some time. But of course, the frame of reference that most people will have with him would be his acting career. So when he was on cue with Jean Gomeshi, as he always does when he tees up the guests that he's got on for the day, he kind of rattles off a number of their accolades and is giving people a frame of reference for this particular artist that you might not be familiar with his music, but here's where he comes from as an acting career, and he took real exception to that, and to the point where he refused to answer any of the questions. His canned response was, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. So it finally came to light that he was upset, and that he had specifically told the producers that you're not supposed to make any mention of me as a actor or anything like that. I'm here just strictly on the merits of my music. And of course, Jean said, I'm happy to do that for you, but I'm just trying to give people a frame of reference. So in the end, he was wholly uncooperative and ended up not performing with the band as he was originally scheduled to do so, because he said he quote unquote forgot his drums yet. Meanwhile, it was all set up in the studio. So that for me was one of the interviews that was really he caught my attention, and more specifically because the way he handled himself and the way he navigated through that, it was very difficult. And for me, the funniest parts was there's a computer screen that's sitting right in front of Jean that he's receiving messages from his producers that are sitting in the other room. And the messages, if this thing really goes sideways, I've got the new metric or whatever music coming up that we can cut to, right? So they were looking to bail him out, but as the consummate professional that he ended up having to navigate through this thing. Long story short, now CBC has cut him loose because of some allegations made by some women that have come forward that have suggested that they've had, he's assaulted them, and he's come forward and said through consensual agreement that he has endeavored with them in various forms of, BDSM and alternative, kinky,
Shit.
of adult themes. And it's,
Fuck.
I mean, it is what it is in and of itself, and it's going to resolve at some point. But what I've found remarkable is how polarizing the subject has been, and how on one side you have some people that immediately come to his defense because, of course, he writes this, this truth post preemptively suggesting, here's what's going on. And I mean, good of him, I guess, for doing that. But at the same time, these other women now are coming forward, or people that represent the feminist movement, and people that have been a victim of these convicted list crimes that now have come forward and said, this thing happens, and it's a pretty rampant thing. So the reason I wanted to break it up is because, broadcasting is certainly something where there's a lot of scrutiny that's placed on it in terms of the surface part. But it seems to me that a lot of personal lives now have been kind of creeping into, the surface, or at least the public persona of people. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, it's one thing if these women had come forward and had formally pressed charges, and they haven't, and there might be good reason for that, and all that stuff is going to, come to light eventually. And, obviously all this stuff is allegedly he's done this, right? But, I found the divide has really made us question and kind of turn to ourselves and say, are we, we're not exempt and we're not absolved of these things, even though they're not in the public light, right? But then it begs the question, should public figures, and even if it's a musician or whatever the case may be, should their personal choices and things that we consider to be private affairs now be, up for public debate?
I think if it's like something intense, like, I don't know, harassing children and stuff, yes. But if it's just like, I don't know, everyday shit that some normal person's doing, then who cares,
Like, if
just
you're
because
into
they're
kinky
famous.
sex, do you really think that, that should be aired publicly?
No, not at all. Who cares? It's not going to change their acting if they like kinky sex or not.
Right. I guess the debate that comes in is whether or not there was consent. Because, from all accounts of some of the things I read is, it's more or less like he gets them through the door and is like smacking them in the face. And
Well, that's fucked up.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't know where the truth is, right? My comment is not necessarily on the specifics, but more on the divide and more of the implications that it has on, being a public figure. You know what I mean? And how those things now play into the public perception of those people.
I think it just depends on the person's position. Like, if they're like an actor or a musician, it's like, and they're drinking and partying and doing stupid shit, like, whatever. But if you're like Rob Ford and doing what Rob Ford's doing, then it should probably be public because...
Well, I mean, and we do live in the age of accessibility, right? Where in years past, if you wanted to connect with, I wrote a fan letter to Michael Jackson when I was 8 years old. You know what I mean? And I waited by that fucking mailbox every day for one to come back. And I remember asking my mom, did Michael Jackson write me back yet? No, nothing yet. And now...
He's too busy
there's
banging.
Twitter, there's Facebook. I mean, there's...
Home Alone kid.
Yeah. There's so many streams or means to be able to connect with these people, right? Have you ever sent a tweet to, what you would consider to be somebody, a star or a big public figure, and they took the time to message you back?
Yeah, it's like the craziest thing ever.
Right?
You don't know if it's really bad now.
Wow.
William Putney just messaged me back on Facebook. That was pretty fucking
Who's
cool.
William Putney? Forgive my ignorance.
He's like recorded and mixed every like hardcore metalcore band in the last 2 years, probably.
Really?
Actually, yeah, like all the huge ones.
Shows what I know. Pretty intense start to our podcast here today, where normally it's a lighthearted in nature, but it's something that kind of, I've been thinking about the last little while, and partly because I'm a fan of the show, but like I said, the divide now and how polarizing it is, and it kind of went from I'm sure there's some people out there that Jean who, but the issues that surround it have what become the subject matter and the polarizing piece.
It is funny that it's like huge. Like as soon as it happened, there's people that are just like hating on him, and then there's the fans, like you said, like just jump up. But it's tough because you don't actually know the thing that's going on. It's just you're a fan of him, so you want to defend him, or there's it's like you said, as the personal things are coming to it. But it's tough though because the women didn't press formal charges, but sexual assault's a tough one like that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of women don't do it because they're embarrassed, they're ashamed, or something like that. And then plus with the BDSM, if you make a formal complaint, then everybody's gonna know that you're involved in that. Maybe you don't want your grandparents to know you're doing that kind of stuff, and so it is tough. But like, I agree with you that it's crazy how much because we honestly, how much does the public actually know? And everybody's making these crazy statements and everything, either side of it, and it's just like, well, were you there?
Well, as much as he's made the preemptive post, I think there was, some forethought put into the timing of that.
Oh, totally.
Because of the fact that now he's launched a $50 or $55 million lawsuit campaign against CBC and is requested for immediate reinstatement. I think because in lieu of that and that advanced statement, now they become the defendants, right? So any statements that they issue publicly now can be used against them, right? So I think part of it is maybe that preemptive thing to control the PR backlash. It's hard to say, but it's certainly interesting. The times have really changed, and this whole issue has brought forward a lot of points that maybe hadn't seen the light of day before, and we'll see what the resolve is as a result. But like I said, I found it remarkable how people got pretty passionate pretty quickly when this thing came out. It kind of blew up out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. That said, we're going to get to some tunes here, and then we'll come back with perhaps a little bit more lighthearted discussion. I apologize for something that I needed to broach. Just because I'm jokes. And Brandon Eady is not with us tonight. He's hosting the Alternatives on Wednesday, which, by the way, if you're sitting at home and thinking about something to do a little bit later, you can head on down to the Hideaway for the Alternative with DJ Brandon Eady. And I think they've got some cheap drinks, $5 cans or something like that, or maybe even less. I think they're doing, if I'm not mistaken, they were doing Coors banquets or something like that.
When I was there in September, it was $5 Cooler banquet.
Either way, go check out some sweet tunes. Hang out with Mr. Harry Chest himself. He's going to be joining us back on the podcast here when time affords him, but we're going to get into some of the specifics about what's happening as we move forward. When we get back, we'll have some conversation here, Mr. Rory Taillon. In the meantime, let's check out The Affair. This is Maze on the London Indie Underground.
Thrown into the maze. I thought that I got out of this until she came my way. Been thrown into the maze. Left turn, now reverse back to where we came. That I got out of this until she came my way.
This week on London Indie Underground, someone's gonna take their clothes off.
High School Sweetheart with Drum here on the London Indie Underground Indie Stream podcast, broadcasting live from the Vault Recording Studio at Adelaide and Princess. My name is Jimmy James, joined here in studio today by Rory Taillon. So, Rory, we were talking a little bit outside, and what do you do for a living?
Strictly music.
Strictly music.
Yeah.
So I bring that up because there's a lot of musicians out there that are survived by day jobs.
Right.
Now, how long have you been just performing music now?
3.5 years.
Wow.
Straight doing this full time.
With no side job. That's sick, man.
So how many nights are you playing typically?
It depends on the week. This week I've only got 2, but upwards of 5, 6.
5-6 nights a week?
It depends. Like summertime's really good, but you go on tour and you try to capitalize on your time.
Okay.
So usually when I tour, there's like one night off a week or something like that, just so it's all works out.
Yeah, right. So I guess you have to pace yourself, right? Because it's, I mean, part of the culture that comes, I think, of playing in bars is partying and drinking and all that stuff, right? And how do you navigate through all that?
Usually, I get stuck with driving duties.
That'll do it.
So I don't, but then, but every once in a while, one of the guys will want to drive, or like in the case of the place we play in Moncton, they offer accommodations upstairs above the bar. So
There you go.
you let loose.
On occasion, right?
On occasion, yeah.
So of those nights, if you're playing 4 or 5 nights a week, are you playing covers as well?
Yeah, I do both right now. I'm trying to move away from the covers. Like I always kind of see it as I feel terrible saying it because I'm still playing music, but that's my day job, is the cover shows, because you're not really doing what you want to do. You're still playing music, but that's where the steady income comes from.
Right.
Steady. But yeah, it's slowly getting away from them though, and doing more and more original music shows.
So, and you're from Oshawa.
I live there, yeah. I grew up in a little town called Port Perry.
Where's that?
It's just north of Oshawa.
Oh, okay, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's about a half hour, 40 minutes north of Oshawa.
And so are there enough, I mean, is it sustainable to stay within that area to perform regularly, or do you have to tour a lot?
I'm definitely on the road a lot. It's I try not to play in the area too much, but fortunately, there's so much around the area, and Oshawa's right on the highway, so it's super easy just to jump on the highway and get somewhere else in no time. And like today, I just came right from, or last time I was here, I hit Brantford and Hamilton on the way, and so I'm fortunate to live where I do, because there's so much in
Kind of an epicenter for
such a
everywhere.
short drive. Whereas when you get, say, the northern Toronto or Ontario, you're driving for 8 hours between Sault Ste. Marie and Thunder Bay.
Wow. I'm from North Bay, so.
Are you?
Yeah,
Oh, right on.
And I've done some of those legs too, and
Yeah.
that's a long drive,
Yeah.
man. I hear you. So a lot of cover shows, and then, anytime that I've seen you or that I've seen you booked, you've been booking with your band, but you're performing with us acoustically today.
Yeah, I do both. When I first started going on the road, I did it mostly by myself, because the guys all were responsible and had day jobs. But we're starting to get them out now, doing little weekend tours with the band and stuff like that. We're playing the Black Shire on the 14th of November,
Right.
Friday night, and we're going to have the full band there that night. Pretty stoked for that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what are some of the key things? We try to give key messaging to maybe those musicians that are listening, that, to navigate through the industry. And I mean, it's tough. I know London, there's certainly a sufficient amount of places to play. It always goes without saying that, we could probably use more.
Right.
But that said, you kind of have to get out there and push your product. And, you've been doing this for 3 years now. So what would you say are some of the things that you've had to do, maybe in terms of a compromise, to be able to have the lifestyle that you're living right now?
You gotta just know what you're getting into. Like, it's there's not a lot of money in it, especially not when you're starting out. Like, there can be good money, and obviously it's sustainable, and but you just got to keep working and always be working, and meeting new people, and it helps. My wife is super supportive, and so that helps a lot. So she really wants me just to have at it. So there's days where I'm like, man, I should get a job. She's like, no, just keep going. Send out a few more emails, and then I'll pick up some dates somewhere on the road. And it's that definitely is a big part, is that
Yeah.
she's behind me.
Got a good woman.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
No fooling, eh? Is she watching right now?
I don't. Maybe she's got work tomorrow at 7.
Is anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, on the spot now. Hey, my wife's name is Julie. She's probably in bed though. I don't know what time it is.
It's a 9:45.
Oh, no.
Or 9:45, rather.
No, she should be up. So, hey, babe.
Your folks are watching too?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Mom and dad back home in Port.
So we'll try to keep it PG-13.
Looks at me.
right. Matt just has a tendency sometimes to put his foot in his mouth a little bit. Just a bit.
It's all right. I asked you before we started about language because usually I gotta think a little more before I speak if I go on a radio show or a TV show.
Man, let me tell you, we've had some colorful characters on this show that have said some things that I can't repeat, and it's gonna happen again, and I'm okay with that. That's the beautiful thing about a podcast. You can really say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right? But what we try to do is to cast a bit of a spotlight onto bands from London and southwestern Ontario. And happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
You know, the cool story for me when in talking to you is, you know, your commitment to it and how long you've been doing it. But moreover, it sounds to me like you don't have a plan B. It's just,
Nope.
and so what's your long-term goal? I mean, what do you want to do with this? You know, I think it's safe to say everybody wants to be a, rich rock star, but, you know, do you have kind of realistic goals that you mapped out for yourself, or, you know, what is it you're looking to get out of this?
I just honestly, I don't really want to be a giant rock star or something like that. I would just be happy, being able to continue to do this forever, and obviously progress and start doing bigger things with it. But I don't know. I always think of people like Damien Rice or to a bigger extent Tom Waits. They're not you don't see them in the tabloids, and they're not playing the ACC. Well, Tom Waits might, but they have a presence there, and a lot of
cult following kind of.
Yeah, kind of something like that would be kind of cool, because the what's the word? Celebrity status isn't terribly appealing to me.
Well, no, certainly in light of a number of the things that have come up. Celebrity life now seems to be all about expose, as opposed to the music.
Yeah, and I'd rather just play music that I like and that I love, and not try to write music that's gonna get me famous or something.
Right. But is it not tempting though? Try to craft that perfect one hit.
There's every once in a while, but I saw this interview with Moby, and he was saying if you really it's a great thing to think about, but if you actually made something that you hate, could you really be proud of yourself? You'd be like, that's why I'm a success, is this shitty song that I really hate, and everybody wants to hear it every time they see me, and I just want to blow my brains out every time I think of it, and I want to play them this, but they're like, no, Freebird,
Right.
Well, Freebird's a bad example, because it's
just a good song.
It is a good song. It's just that as a musician, as soon as somebody says it, you want to punch them in the throat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think was it Jenny Lane? Jenny Lane, who was deceased now, but he was the singer from wasn't Poison? No, Warrant. Van Warrant. So the song Cherry Pie?
Yeah.
So he wrote that song. The record label came to him and said, we need one song that's going to connect. And so he wrote that song, and then all of a sudden he was the cherry pie guy, And in this one interview, he's like, I'm the guy that wrote Cherry Pie. I want to shoot myself in the fucking face. Just, hated the song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I'm sure that's
awesome.
that happens, that's part of the scene, I think, or at least for those people that, the label is investing the money into. I mean, they're certainly going to have a hand, at least in, or some kind of influence in terms of the direction of the band or the way that you look. A good friend of mine, Joel Crass, who's been on the podcast a number of times, performed with a band called Headstrong, and they had, some PR people that were trying to get Matt Kinna to cut his hair and to shave and to wear, leather pants and whatnot, and they're like, what? That's not what we do, right? So, but he was the kind of guy that would, protest that in his own way, and and nobody else may know it, but the people that were trying to influence him, they certainly knew, So yeah, I mean, Cherry Pie.
It is.
Have you ever read the lyrics to that song?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Really?
It's yeah. And I think that song is credited as having 5 or 6 writers on it.
Really?
Yeah. So when you think about the simplest songs in the world, man, there's usually a lot of people that are involved in that.
I know it's true.
Well, there's that thing. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
There was that thing going around with the Beyonce picture about that song that she wrote, and it took like a whole team of people to write it, and then there was Freddie Mercury with Bohemian Rhapsody, as one
Right.
person wrote that.
Yeah, I posted that, and I took a little flack over that, particularly with my bandmate Alex Kane from Marcellus Wallace. He's a
Beyonce
huge
fan?
Beyonce fan, right? And she's like, yeah, but the scope and the time, it's different. The playing field is not the same. And, you know, I posted it because, you know, I thought it was pretty funny, right? And there's some truth there. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody is this huge epic, right? And then on the other side, it was like, what's this? I can't remember her name. She wrote the song called "You're a Hoe, You a Hoe, You a Hoe,
Nicki
a
Minaj.
Hoe, a Hoe, a Hoe." Yeah,
Is that who it was? Nicki
yeah.
Minaj?
But yeah, if you look at these songs that they're, you know, contrasting, comparing to, a lot of these songs are the big songs right now, you know, or at least were at the time. It makes me shake my head, man.
The worst.
Although Beyonce, you know, credit where credit is due. I think she's a hell of a performer. But,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of Freddie Mercurys in the world.
No.
You know, it just doesn't happen. They come along every now and then again, so does Vanilla Ice. You know,
Yeah. Or
We
iced
just-
tea.
we just kind of roll with it.
Vanilla Ice.
Except some people have some respect for iced tea.
I don't mind iced tea.
Me.
I posted a picture up. I thought it was the most hilarious thing I'd seen in a long time. And it's, you know, when you go like to Wendy's or something like that, and you have to self-serve your own drinks,
Yeah.
and there's a picture of iced tea on the iced tea. Awesome.
I know, but how gangster are you when you're on Law and Order?
Isn't that Ice Cube?
Oh, that's iced tea.
Oh, which one? No.
No, Ice Cube though. Now he's doing like
Family movie.
Family
family
movies.
movies,
He's even
and he was
worse.
in NWA.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Are we
yeah.
there yet?
If you don't know who NWA is, Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was somebody put a picture today. It was a graph. Somebody drawn it up, and it was a glass, and it had Ice-T's face on it, and like characterized into it. And then in the glass of iced tea was Ice Cubes, and it had Ice Cube's face on it.
Oh,
It's
nice.
fantastic. I need to find it.
That's great.
It was one of those things like you just flipping through, you're like, and you pass, and you're like, damn, I should have saved that.
Like a post I put on your wall last
Yeah. Iguana tap it,
night.
but I got a reptile dysfunction. Oh boy.
It's like these two iguanas humping.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Dyer.
I remember the other one I posted on your wall? Fedora, the Pussy Explorer. It's like this big fat guy with a fedora.
Oh boy.
Okay, I just wrecked the podcast.
No, not at all.
Almost an hour.
All right. Well, we'll get to a couple more tracks here. Rory, we'll get you set up for a live performance here for our audience and listeners online. Thanks for joining us today, folks. We're going to be here with you every Wednesday. Join us next week where our guest is going to be Texas King. Very excited about that. It's kind of a long time coming. They've been on a pretty extensive tour, but they're pretty excited to be joining us here in studio next week for an interview and live performance. We're going to find out some road stories. Jordan's probably going to say some shit.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to make sure to tune in. But more importantly, I think you should come down. 532 Adelaide Princess. Bring your own beer. We start broadcasting at 8 p.m. We only have one rule, no dicks. So we'll get to a couple of tunes here. And we'll be back with a live performance here with Rory Taillon. In the meantime, let's check out some Ivory Hours. This is Mary on the London Indie Underground.
Mary felt a little low, needed a pick me up. Mary tried to live
This next song brought to you by Cuban Lou's Pube Lube. New and improved. Comes in tubes of 2.
Ask your doctor if Cuban Lou's Pube Lube is right for you. Allow 22 weeks for delivery. London Indie Underground. Making your mom wet since 2012.
I'm gone out gambling with the banker. Gonna lay $1 down and put it to work. Put it at risk. Save a loony. Help the country go a little crazy. Go on a cruise. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Somebody fudged the numbers, made a mistake. There's no way we have as much as we say we do. They reset the passwords, raise the stakes. It's hard to tell if we're long from disaster. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Must have missed the intro, but don't know why we spend all our time trying to make things grow when everybody knows we only have so much. You can feel it in your guts, feel it in your bones. Da, 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 da.
Pat Maloney with 2 for the money here on the London Indie Underground. For that, Ivory Hours with Mary, which made it into the top 5 of one of CBC's Rock Your Campus contests, waiting patiently to find out what the results are from that. And Mr. Maloney right now off venturing out in this great country of ours. I think he's in the western provinces right now. He joined us on our radio show this past Friday on 94.9 CHRW Radio, which is co-hosted by myself and Mr. Brandon Eady. Every Friday, he joined us speak about his tour and let us know what's been going on, and we expect him to be back in this market here about a month's time, maybe 2 at the most. Certainly a busy guy, but always great to connect with him and find out what's going on with Pat, who incidentally is the #1 artist right now on CHRW Radio. So that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to present to you today this artist that you may not yet be familiar with, but I'm hoping that you're going to come and check him out when he's back in London here on the 14th of November at the Blackshire Pub. This is Mr. Rory Taillon. Taillon is his last name. I keep pronouncing it incorrectly.
Dance, monkey dance, and I'll buy you another beer. Dance, monkey dance, keep me grinning from ear to ear. Young poet in his basement writes of hardship and war. When he's older, he's told to cheer up, not to write about those things anymore. Dance, monkey dance, and I'll buy you another beer. Dance, monkey dance, keep me grinning from ear to ear. Young girl in a summer dress dreams of dancing and being a star. Pretty soon, all her dancing will be done on a table in a bar. Dance, monkey dance, and I'll buy you another beer. Dance, monkey dance, keep me grinning from ear to ear. An actor on a small stage pours his soul into the part. He's forced to live like a poor man. He gives it all up for his art. Dance, monkey dance, and I'll buy you another beer. Dance, monkey dance, keep me grinning from ear to ear. Oh, dance, monkey dance, and I'll buy you another beer. Dance, monkey dance, keep me grinning from ear to ear. Dear God, please tell me this is all one bad dream. I see a lone bird fly overhead, and I wonder when we will all end up dead. How can we not see? Can't eat money or drink gasoline. When will they open their eyes? See the death raining down from the skies. Will we be free? Will we be free? Will we be free? Will we be free? Well, we're fucked by those who swore to protect us. How could we not see who pulled their strings? The crack of the whip and the rattling chain. It's enough to drive this man insane. Oh, how can we not see? Can't eat money or drink gasoline. Where will they open their eyes? See the death raining down from the skies. Will we be free? Will we be free? Will we be free? Will we be free? our ocean and we look the other way. The guilt to us is based on how much they'll pay. How can we not see? We can't eat money or drink gasoline. When will they open their eyes and see the death raining down from the skies? Will we break free? Will we break free? Will we break free? Will we break free? Bear with me a sec. Da, da, da. Always got a tune after that one. That's why. Whoops. Ours is a brand new song. There's no sense in fighting it, there's nothing can be done. Born from the dust into the dust, we'll become winter hunted. To the worms, we're all the same. We're all the same. Soldiers and farmers, beggars and crowns, we're all in the same boat and it's slowly going down. My glass may be half empty, but there's always room for something more, something more. Wish that heaven wasn't taken anymore, and hell was spilling out onto the floor. I guess we're stuck here until the day the Reaper calls your name. He calls your name. With pleasures of the flesh and pleasures of the soul, they mean next to nothing when you're 6 feet in a hole. Don't worry, we'll all be joining you soon, joining you soon. Soldiers and farmers, beggars and crowns, we're all in the same boat and it's slowly going down. My glass may be half empty, but there's always room for something more, for something more, for something more, for something more. Alright, it's a Halloweeny song. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. You better stop the things that you're doing. Watch out, 'cause I ain't lying. No, I ain't lying. Yeah, I can't stand anymore of you fooling around. I can't stand anymore of you putting me down. I put a spell on you. Oh, because you're mine. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. You better stop the things that you're doing. Watch out, 'cause I ain't lying. No, I ain't lying. Yeah, I can't stand anymore of you fooling around. I can't stand anymore of you putting me down. I put a spell on you. Why? Because you're mine. I can't stand anymore of you fooling around. I can't stand anymore of you putting me down. I put a spell on you. Why? Because Thank you. I always feel like I should tell a joke when I'm tuning, but I'm really bad at jokes, so I'm not going to. And I'd ask you, but I'm assuming it to be dirty. I'd get fired. That's always what you want to hear. asked you if leave this world behind you and take to the sky. Oh, then someone came and they clipped your wavelengths, nailed them to the ground, and told you not to say. Have you ever wanted to swim across the sea? Hold your breath, jump in and be free. Oh, then someone came and they put you in a cage, told you to smart enough and act your age. When I look in the mirror, I don't like what I see. That old man in the suit used to be me. Oh, then someone came and took away all his dreams, left him naked on the floor with no one to hear his screams. Now he stares back at me through the glass, and I'm just a sad glimpse for him into the past. And with tears flowing down his face, he asked me to stay there, take him away from this place. When I look in the mirror, don't like what I see. That old man in the suit used to be me. Oh, then someone came and took away all his dreams, left him naked on the floor with no one to hear him scream.
using that thing because I always look like a kid. The day that you're born, they give you a number. They might as well imprint it on your face. And they plan your whole life out for you and expect you to join in their rat race. Teach you everything that they want you to know. Expect you not to question what you're told, and they kick you out with only one direction. Expect you to follow it until you're old. What about the outcasts? The ones who don't do as it's told. What about the misfits? Who don't fit into your mold? Where do we stand? Well, you're taught to judge a man by only his possessions, the size of his house or the make of his car. Make sure you look like everyone else. Put on some makeup and cover up those scars. What about the outcast? The ones who don't do as it's told. What about the misfits? The ones who don't fit into your mold. Where do we stand? Here I am, lost again, my own mind. Listening to Jimmy with a bottle of whiskey and a glass of wine. Chillin's words, they are echoing through my head. What could have filled the Joker with such dread? Well, I'm drinking until I'm sober, or at least until I forget what brought me here, and I'm dying to survive. So won't you bring me another beer?
head, and he's tore me apart. He's taken all the blackness out of my heart. The real king of rock and roll was never white. He told Johnny to be good so he could not fight. Well, I'm drinking till I'm sober, or at least until I forget what brought me here, and I'm dying to survive. So won't you bring me another beer? Another beer. With sadness, it's turned to hate. Stop wandering around in this sorry state. The legends of his lost loved ones, while they float on by. He spent his whole life trying to find when it was his turn to die. Well, I'm drinking until I'm sober, or at least until I forget what brought me here, and I'm dying to survive. So won't you bring me another beer? Another beer. Thanks. Don't try to paint a smile on my face. Might get my fist back in yours. I won't be a puppet, don't make that mistake. I'm not putting up with your shit anymore. Sing the songs that I want to sing. I'm not some puppet on a string. I won't be your jukebox no more. Mr. Bartender, please come down here and pour me something strong. I'm sitting there trying to think about what to play, and this asshole's yelling out the same song. Sing the songs that I want to sing. I'm not some puppet on a string. I won't be your jukebox no more.
it makes me wish I was there. Sing the songs that I want to sing. I'm not some puppet on a string. I won't be your jukebox no more. Sing the songs that I want to sing. I'm not some puppet on a string. I won't be your jukebox no more. Hey.
London Indie Underground, brought to you by Grandpa Wheezy's Easy Grease. Unleash the beast, only $5 a piece.
I was driving in my Caprice with my wife Bernice. Nowhere near the beast, she just gave me the old fleece. Now every Sunday drive, I'm feeding the geese. Thank you, Grandpa Wheezy.
Consult your doctor before using Grandpa Wheezy's Easy Grease. Not recommended for those that suffer from alien hand syndrome, the Jimmy Legs, swamp ass, SARS, or foot and mouth disease. Grandpa Wheezy's Easy Grease.
It's a bee's knees.
Well, it's times like these we never want to lose. The memories of sailing across the blue, and everyone would ask us where we were. Seems like we're the greatest travelers. To climb to the top of Foster Mountain. We used to play seaweed wigs on top of our heads, and all the memories of life down at the cottage. Oh, I never ever will forget. Never will forget. Yeah, well, it's times like these we never want to move. The memories of all we used to do.
Underground Sound is London's fully equipped rehearsal studios. We provide only top quality backline gear with affordable hourly rates and package pricing. Audio-video production services are also available. Visit us online at undergroundsoundlondon.com.
I want to watch the sun as it pours through the door and lights up the cracks in the floorboards and moves through the room to where you sleep, where it lights up the cracks in your skin. Knees. It's at night when the moon peers through my windows and counts the worries on the lines of my face down on the pillow. I am dreaming of a long forgotten time when I would watch the sun. In my house I built my home on the kitchen table, and my bare bones in the freckles up and down my arms in the way I'd keep you safe from harm.
Olivia and the Creepy Crawlies with Long Forgotten Friend here on London Indie Underground. Before that, Texas King with Foster Mountain. Brand new video that they just put out for that song, as a matter of fact. Just saw a picture that they posted up. They're coming back from the East Coast. I believe they're in Quebec somewhere right now, but they're going to be joining us next week right here on the Indie Stream podcast. We encourage you to either tune in or to come and join us here in studio 532 Adelaide and Princess, the home of London Indie Underground, the Vault Recording Studios, and of course Underground Sound Rehearsal Studios. We do offer a number of different services here to the community as we endeavor to tip the cap to what we feel are some of the best bands from London and southwestern Ontario. And I gotta say, holy fuck, Rory. There was, in my mind, you know, you see a band and you're like, wow, that's really good. Wow, that's amazing. And then every now and then you encounter a holy fuck. And
Thanks,
well done, dude.
Thanks.
You're a pretty remarkable performer, man.
Thank you.
You certainly got some vocals. Are you self-taught or did you take lessons?
No, I was a choir kid and
Were ya?
took many years of classical and vocal training. 6 or 7 years of classical from the age of 6, and then I sang in choirs.
I got to tell you, it's evident that why you're endeavoring to only have a music job, because obviously you got the skill set to back it up.
Thank you.
So, of the shows, what would you say the percentage-wise that you're playing acoustic versus with the band?
Right now, probably 70% acoustic. We're starting to get more band stuff. We're having troubles with members for a little bit, but we've got a new young guy named Robin on drums, and he played his first show with us 2 weeks ago, and he's a good fit. So I'm pretty stoked, and he really wants to play, which is awesome. And there's Graham on bass, who's put up with my shit for a while, and well. That makes me sound bad, but it's great. So we got a good lineup right now, and I'm pretty pumped to get out and start playing because they both are chomping at the bit like I am. So it's great to have that.
Okay, well, the last time when I saw you play at the Shire, you handed me a sweet little paper bag.
Yeah,
it had a graphic on the front of some of your music. So what are you currently representing right now? Are you going back into the studio, or do you have a new recording?
Currently, we just finished up tracking 2 songs. We want to do a 45, like on vinyl. Hopefully sooner. We're just getting the production value done with it right now. I'm mixing and mastering, and that'll be like the tide over to the next album. Hopefully get another one going soon. I just like recording and putting new stuff out.
Do you find that there's certain times of year when you tend to focus on recording, or winter months seems to be a good time? But
last time it was early summer, which is cool because last time we recorded at this place in Claremont. I always get it wrong. Clarington, north of Pickering. It's called Chalet Studios, and it's like this wicked awesome studio. It's in the middle of nowhere. And actually the live room has 3 walls are completely windows, and it just looks out into this forest, and you're elevated, so you're looking over top of it.
It was closed for a couple of years, was it?
Yeah, they were renovating.
That's where Rush recorded.
Yeah.
That's
Rush.
Moving Pictures, actually, I think was done there.
They did a couple. Bare Naked Ladies were there. Arlene Bishop. I can't think of.
I remember seeing some videos of people going up with video cameras to take a look at Chalet, and it had been closed down, and of course everything was overgrown, all the brush and trees and grass and everything, and I mean, it's a pretty historic room, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's wicked. I actually I did a pre-release of my last record there. We actually did a show in the live room, which was
really
it was cool. It was just a handful of people, and it was kind of like it was really neat to have that kind of situation in that place that we created this album. I played it solo too, which was kind of funny, like playing it with the band and then converting it over. But it was cool.
Very cool, man. So, what's your plans for the as we approach winter?
Keeping busy. Not too much in the way of touring. I think right now probably I'll stay in Ontario, maybe go Montreal, a couple times. But definitely stay busy. It's well, as a musician, you don't really. Well, I found you kind of forget like what days are. People are like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm playing 6 hours away. I forgot it was this weekend. Sorry, you know.
Yeah, I certainly had a tendency to lose sight of, some of those important holiday days.
Yeah, or like Mondays that are off. People are like, oh, I got Monday off. I'm like, what? there's a holiday?
Very cool. So where can people, if they want to check out your stuff right now, where can they find it?
Best place would be the website, Rory, Rory, Taillon, TAILLON.com. Everything's up there from videos, tour dates, just the store. You can buy the music on iTunes and stuff. And then we'll also do the Facebook and Twitter, and it's all / Rory Taillon.
Pretty easy to find you.
Yeah. There's not many Rory Taillons. I'm very fortunate with the name. My parents gifted me with that, a very odd name. So it made for easy to make a website. I just started listening to this guy named John Smith, and it's like, how the heck am I supposed to find you?
Right.
But everything's on the website, and if you like what you hear, shoot me a message or something. I like chatting, or come out to a show. We'll have a beer.
Right. Well, you're going to be here November the 14th at the Blackshire Pub. Yeah. You'll be back with the full band.
Full band.
So that obviously people can expect kind of much of the same. Is your acoustic set vary a lot from your live performance with the full band, or is it a lot of the same music?
We usually keep it pretty high. Like I can do the soft stuff like I did Through the Glass there. Don't usually do that one with the band.
Right.
So we usually keep it pretty high energy. Just the
Excellent.
Slower song, but you got the band, you might as well use it, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for coming down. I know you drove down from Oshawa to be here today.
Hey,
I checked it
pleasure.
out. We got 112 viewers for today's podcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is always humbling when I look at the numbers and I see how many people are taking interest in what we're doing, even if you're not here in studio. But that said, there's something to be said for coming in. I said a couple of times.
People should definitely come to next week, though.
Next week is Texas King. You don't want to miss it.
No, these guys are fantastic.
You never know what they're going to say. And you know what? Kind of one of the darlings of London, actually. I think, if I were to look at a couple of the bands right now that are, really making some noise, Texas King is certainly there, and Ivory Hours have been doing really well for themselves. But you go down the list, like Wasted Potential. There's Black Frame Spectacle. They got a CD release party coming up. There's a number of them here, which is why we're very enthusiastic about what we do here and the whole reason why we do it. I mean, we do this on my own money and my own time, and the radio show at the same time every Friday, 3:30 to 6 p.m. Myself and Brandon Eady, much the same that we do here. We play a lot more music and get to hear some of your requests too. So feel free to connect with us on the radio show. That said, I got a couple of announcements for you before we sign off. So this week is obviously Halloween week. There's lots of stuff going on. Tomorrow night at the Blackshire Pub, and I can speak to these because I know them off of the top of my head, and it's not exclusive, obviously. There is the Antiques Freak Show taking place, which is a CHRW sponsored event. It's going to be broadcast live to air. On Friday, we've got Butch Holler and his Chesterfield Ramblers, which is the alter ego of Mr. Joel Parkins from the Matadors, are going to be performing on Friday. And on Saturday, sad to announce, but my last performance with Marcellus Wallace is going to be taking place at the Blackshire Pub. It's a free show, by the way, so we encourage you to come out and come and tip a few with me and maybe pour out a little bit of beer as I celebrate my last performance with them. And that said, the band's not breaking up by any means. They're going to move forward. I just made a conscious decision that I had to commit my time and my resources to more depth of some of my interests, and as a result, I had to step away from the band. So all the power to them. Wish them nothing but the best, but looking forward to partying with you if you want to come down with us on Saturday. So it's a busy week for us. Connect us up, and on Friday, tune in 3:30 to 6 p.m. Brendan and I will have hopefully a couple of Halloween jams here for you. I'm not sure yet, but we've got to see what we've got in the archive. So thanks again, Rory. I really appreciate you coming down.
Thank you.
Once again, people, you can connect with Rory, RoryTaillon.com, and of course on Facebook and Twitter. And if you follow us on Twitter or Facebook, we've also posted up the links for it too, so you can get at them that way. And if you like what you hear, come down and join us at the Blackshire Pub, November 14th, featuring the full band. Excellent. Well, I want to thank, I don't know where Matt is right now. He's hanging a hog or something, but Mr. Matt Dyer, I want to thank him for all his contributions here and running front of house sound for us and being an integral part of the business. And obviously for Riva, who's running ops over here. You haven't seen her yet, but she's the pretty girl with the purple hair in the background that's running the stuff. Yeah. Well, you can step in front for wave to your mom.
Hi, Mom.
And join us once again next week, 5:32 Adelaide Princess, same time, same place. We're going to be joined by Texas King. So we're going to leave you today with a track by Amity Beach. This is Right Back Where We Started, which is a cover song from an old 70s throwback here on the London Indie Underground. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We really appreciate it.
Love is good, love can be strong, so let's